ABCD is a rectangle. A, E and B are points on the straight line L with equation x plus 2y equals 12. A and D are points on the straight line M. AE equals EB. Find an equation for M. So what we can start off with is we can annotate this diagram. So ABCD is a rectangle. So each of these vertices A, B, C and D, we can label them up as right angles. The next piece of information we have is that AE is equal to EB. So again we can mark these on. So we've been given the equation for the straight line L, however it's not in the correct form, which is y equals mx plus c. So we can rearrange this equation to make y the subject. So we can first minus x from both sides, which gives us 2y is equal to negative x plus 12. And then we can divide both sides by 2. And this gives us y is equal to negative a half x plus 6. And we get 1 mark for writing the correct equation. Now what this tells us about line L is that the gradient of it is negative a half and the y-intercept is 6. So we can mark on that point E is 6 as this is the y-intercept. So as we can see, line L and line M are perpendicular to each other because of this right angle. Now when two lines are perpendicular to each other, their gradients multiply to make negative 1. So what this tells us is that negative a half multiplied by the gradient of M is equal to negative 1. And we can rearrange this by dividing both sides by negative a half, which tells us that the gradient of line M is 2. So we can start substituting this into an equation. So this will tell us that y is equal to 2x plus c. Now we'll get a second mark for working out the gradient, and in order to work out the y-intercept and therefore the full equation, we need two values which we can substitute into this. So if we take a look back at the diagram again, we'll be able to work out the coordinates of point A. So in order to do this, the first thing we can do is we can work out what this point B is here, which is the x-intercept of line L. So we can substitute the value y equals 0 into this equation, and this tells us that 0 is equal to negative a half x plus 6. We can add negative a half x to both sides, and this tells us that half x is equal to 6. And now finally divide both sides by half, and this tells us that x is equal to 12. So we can add this to our diagram. Now line AE is equal to EB. And in order to get from point B to point E, we've had to minus 12 from the x-coordinate and add 6 to the y-coordinate. So we can use the same calculation to get from E to A. So if we're starting off with the coordinate 0, 6, we'll first minus 12 from the x-coordinate, and then we'll add 6 to the y-coordinate. And this tells us that point A is negative 12, 12. Now point A lies on the line M, so we can substitute these values back into our equation. So y is equal to 2 multiplied by negative 12 plus c. So we can first start off by expanding out these brackets, and this gives us 12 is equal to negative 24 plus c. And again we'll need to get c on its own on one side, so we can add 24 to both sides, and this tells us that the y-intercept is 36. And we can now substitute this again back into the equation, and this tells us that the equation of line M is y equals 2x plus 36. And we'll get our final 2 marks for using the correct workings to reach an answer.